little bit more Bible study. It's the same approach. We can't get enough of God's Word. And so we're going to take a look at, well, let me ask this question. What are some of the things that we've said are potential places where you're going to run into a lot of trouble?
The speed bumps, you mean?
Yes.
Baptism is one.
Baptism, okay. And we had a lesson on that. What's another one?
Communion.
Communion. And we've done communion. We didn't have a lesson, but we've done communion. What's another one?
Appointing elders.
Okay.
Starting churches.
Starting churches. Okay, so we've done church. We did church identity. We did communion. We did baptism. And guess what we're doing now? Elders. So that's exactly it. So we're trying to hit all the speed bumps, so you've got at least the biblical basis to answer these questions. Doesn't mean your life is going to be easy. It just means you have a solid foundation on which to address these questions that are going to come up. Okay? So what I want is Church 1 and Church 2. Y'all take a look at 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 7. Okay, it says Church 1 and 2. You're going to look at 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 1 to 7. And then the Disco Ball Church is going to look at Titus 1, verses 5 to 9. And then what I want you to do is go through those passages and identify or look at all the different characteristics that Paul talks about with regard to elders. Okay? And so we list the characteristic and then decide, is this a character trait? Is this a skill or ability? And does this require formal education? Like a seminary type level education. Okay, so everybody understand? Any questions about that? You've got 7 minutes. This isn't hard to go through. So what we're going to do is Denise is going to write them up here. So just kind of throw something out there. And I'll try to make sure I catch whether it's from the Disco Ball Church or the other two, because it'll be upon whether it's Titus or Timothy. Okay, so throw something out there. What's a characteristic we're looking for?
Above reproach.
Above reproach. Okay. That was Titus. Now, did y'all see anything like that in y'all's? Above reproach?
Blameless.
I'm sorry?
Blameless.
Blameless.
Timothy.
Okay. Okay, next.
Hospitable.
Hospitable. Did Timothy have any of those? Okay, so that's in both. Okay, next. There's about nearly 20 of these, so.
Not drunkards.
Not drunkard. And did you guys have something like that? Yes? Okay, so
Not
it's
addicted
both.
to wine.
Not addicted to wine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going back to above reproach, in Timothy, he must do so in a manner worthy of full respect. So I think,
Okay, so that's probably in both.
I would say that's above reproach.
Okay, next one.
Ours said aspire.
Aspire to the office of overseer.
So that's
Okay.
Timothy.
That's in Timothy. And that one's not in Titus. Okay, what else?
Not greedy.
Not greedy?
That was in both.
It isn't
Or,
both?
well,
Well,
Yeah,
that's in,
Timothy.
yeah, they're Timothy. What about you guys? Is not being greedy in y'all's?
Yeah.
Okay, that's in both then. Once you favor three, just see it. Okay, what's next?
Aspire,
Not a novice.
I'm sorry, what?
Not a novice.
not a novice. So what does that mean?
Not a recent convert.
Not a recent convert? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, not a recent convert.
I want to do
Timothy.
this.
Okay, did y'all have that one? Not a recent okay, so that's not in the Titus passage. Okay? What else?
Able to teach.
Able to teach. Okay? Is able to teach in both of them?
Well, kind of, it says sound doctrine and able to instruct, so kind of
Able to instruct.
similar, yeah.
It's close enough. Okay, next. What's another one?
Husband of one wife.
Husband of one wife. Oh, you know something we've missed all the way going down here. Okay, let's go back as soon as we finish this one.
Yeah.
Husband of one wife, is that in y'all's too?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's in both. Let's go back. Above reproach, is that a characteristic, skill, or education? Or any or none above?
Character.
Character. Okay, what about blameless?
Character.
Okay. Real quick on Titus, y'all didn't have anything about being blameless or anything like that?
We had holy
Holy?
And above reproach.
and above reproach, yeah.
Okay, so we'll just stick that in / holy, and that's also Titus. Okay, and is blameless / holy? Is that that is a characteristic, right?
Yes.
What about hospitable?
We debated that one.
We did too.
We put skill though.
It can be in both.
We put both.
Okay, put it in
What-
both.
Yeah. What we put was it's a character, but then it's a character that skill aids in it. as
Okay.
well. So
Okay. What about being a drunkard? Is that a skill or
you mean not being a
or not?
character?
Trait.
Character. Okay. Aspiring.
Character.
Character. Okay. Not greedy.
Character.
Okay. What about being a recent convert? Not a recent convert.
We said character because the qualifier after it says lest they become conceited.
Hmm. Okay.
So it was an issue of character.
Okay. Able to teach.
Skill.
Okay. Skill. Okay. Husband and one wife.
No, not a skill.
On the
Sorry.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
on the instruct able to teach, we debated it.
So you think it's also a character trait?
Well, that, but about the education.
Oh, the education. Oh, okay.
We debated about it.
Good. Oh, so I, you wouldn't
So
stick
did
it
you
out
end up
there.
deciding a yes or still a question
We
mark?
made sure to say, we couldn't answer without saying could be advantageous, but it was a very iffy could.
So it's not absolutely required, but it might help.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Husband and wife is character trait.
Yes.
Okay. And then so now that we've caught up, let's keep moving down. So what other character traits are there?
Self-control.
Okay. Is that? Do you guys have a self-control one?
Yes.
Okay. And what is that a character trait? Okay.
We also said it could be a ability, because you could grow in becoming able to be self-controlled.
I think it's a good point. I think most new Christians, that's one area that they struggle in, and as they mature, they certainly get better at it. Okay. What else? What's another characteristic?
It says not a brawler. Is that self-controlled? Striker. It says not a striker, not a brawler in King James. Is that a same self-control?
I don't know. What do y'all
What
think?
verse is that?
Actually, I think.
Verse 3.
Ours says not violent.
Not violent.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Why don't we go with that? Not violent. Okay. Is that character trait? Okay.
Character?
Uh-huh.
Good reputation.
Good reputation. Okay. Did y'all have something like good reputation?
Well, yeah, I mean, it said be above reproach twice. So, I mean, those are related, I think.
Okay. I think it's one of them. I can't remember if it's Timothy or Titus. One of them talks about having a reputation outside the body of Christ, and one of them talks about having a reputation inside the body of Christ. Is that
Timothy's outside.
Timothy's outside? What about you guys?
I mean, is that having to do with the children or something different?
Could be. Well, let's move on to that
Well,
one.
it
So
also
what was that one?
Okay.
Control your children
Control your children,
with all dignity.
okay? And is that a, did you guys have something like that?
Ours says, his children are believers and not open to the charge of debauchery or insubordination. So it's more specific.
So we'll go ahead and list them merged, but it sounds like the wording's a little bit different.
Are you sure? Not putting them separate? She's putting them separate.
Okay, so how does y'all's worded?
Control children with all dignity.
Okay, and then y'all's talking about children that are believers that, and the children not open to a charge of debauchery. Okay,
So what about the?
so go ahead and put down children are not open to charges of debauchery. So control children, we'll just leave it like this, Timothy and Titus, and then that one will also be Titus. Now in each of those, is that character or skill?
Yes.
You said yes?
We say controlling children is a character, but there's some skill involved,
Okay,
and maybe even some education.
okay.
So character and skill?
Uh,
For the
Yeah,
control
character, skill, and ed. And then children are believers? What did y'all put down for that?
Oh, we don't have that one.
No, I'm looking to the
Disco ball.
disco ball church.
We
What's the answer?
skipped over it because it was difficult.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Always-
Well, we'll leave it blank for the moment, okay?
Which passage was the debauchery one?
That's that's Titus. Okay, so we'll leave that blank for the moment, come back to it. So, what other characteristic? There should be a few more.
Manages their household competently.
Okay,
We label that as character trait and a skill.
okay. And you can do, what's that guy that does money management course?
Dave Ramsey?
Dave Ramsey, yeah, you can do Dave Ramsey, so
Did they have one like that?
that would be an education too.
Was that was that in Titus as well?
No.
No, okay.
You want to put education too?
Yeah, go ahead and put education, because it's certainly something you could learn. Although, yeah, it's fine.
Did we say rebuke people who contradict sound doctrine?
We didn't, so how did you word that again?
Rebuke those who contradict sound doctrine.
Okay,
So what's
so the characteristic is what? They,
Instructed those who go against sound doctrine.
So is that able to teach and instruct?
so is that able to teach and instruct, or is that a different one?
I think of rebuke as an additional
Okay,
skill.
so you're able to rebuke.
Is the way it's worded separate?
No, it's together, because it says, he must hold firm to the trustworthy word as taught, so that he may be able to give instruction in sound doctrine, and also to rebuke those who contradict it.
So we'll have it separate, able to rebuke. Okay, is that a characteristic or a skill?
Both?
Okay, both? Okay. Okay, what's next?
Or said gentle.
Gentle. Did y'all have a gentle one? Or y'all just into rebuking?
And that's
Gentle.
No gentle? No gentleness. Ah.
character trait.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's a
Character trait, okay. There's probably at least one more. What else?
Gentile.
Huh?
Not a new convert.
Not a new convert. Who has that one?
We
It's
already
up
put
there.
that.
We have
We
it.
put that one, yeah.
Not a
Okay.
recent.
Novice or not a recent convert.
Okay,
Not
Upright
quarrelsome, do we have
and
that?
I'm
Quarrelsome?
sorry, what?
Upright, do we have that?
Upright?
Above reproach.
Does that kind of fit into above reproach and blameless and holy, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe a-
Okay, so,
Quarrelsome under brawler, striker, violent, quarrelsome, or is quarrelsome a separate? Not quarrelsome.
Not quarrelsome?
I think that's
That's probably
different.
brawler.
It's the
yeah,
same- it's a
brawler,
different translation.
quarrelsome.
Same, but different.
Yeah, same, different.
I think
All
it's
right, so
right?
we can stop that exercise here. Let's talk about these for a minute. Well, first of all, the children who are believers, as was noted, that's a tough one to sort out. What is one of the messages that we've been trying to communicate about church? Probably lots of messages. Which one am I trying to get to? There's some of the things that we really want churches to be able to do, and that's to independently manage themselves. determine their own rules. And so as your church is getting ready to appoint elders, you guys need to figure out what all this stuff means to you. And dig deep into the scriptures and what does it say before they appointed elders? What did it say they did?
Prayed and fasted.
Pray and fast. Why is that important?
Is a holy responsibility.
You need God's counsel.
Yes. And so it's through that prayer and fasting as the whole church body gets together, including the church planter, and tries to sort out what do all these really mean to you in your culture today, 2017, all those other factors. How does all this apply? And so that's what you need to figure out. And that's the reason why prayer and fasting is so important. Now, I circled two of the differences here. Why did I do that? The aspire and the not a recent convert are not in Titus, but they are in the Timothy. Why is that significant?
It's the age of the church, and the maturity of the church.
Okay, so expand.
So in Timothy, correct me if I'm wrong, it's in Ephesus. And so it's been, I think, a couple of years or several years, and so it's a matured church with a lot of mature, older believers. Whereas in Timothy, so therefore, when you're looking for a leader to have a recent convert in the midst of mature believers would lead to conceit and fall into that trap. So whereas in Titus, it's a very young, new church, so they're all basically new believers, so if you were to have that requirement, you couldn't have any leader.
Excellent. What about the aspire thing? Why is that in there? And again, starting down the same path, so why do you think the aspire thing is there?
If they don't want to do it, it's works and we'll drop the ball.
Okay. What else? And again, so this is a letter written to a mature church. Certainly the works aspect, what else?
Aspiring also is like a calling.
Okay. Okay.
In Titus, when you have new believers in a new church, I can't imagine too many of them aspiring to be leaders, but you need leaders, and so it's not maybe perhaps rather than saying, well, waiting for one of you to step and say, I want to lead, you're actually saying you have these qualities, they need a leader. Step into that role, and it's much more aggressively pushing them into that role. Whereas in the Ephesus church with Timothy, they have a lot more to pick from, and so they have the luxury of being able to say, well, which one actually is aspiring to this? That's the one we want actually doing this.
Cool. Okay. Now, what happens if somebody aspires, but they really don't meet these characteristics? Disciple them. And then what was the fatter thing? I don't even know where that's it. And then then what are you looking for? Looking to see if they're going to be fatter and follow through on your discipleship. So we can grow. I mean, for a church that's been around for a while, we can have a growth pipeline of elders. It's probably a great idea to do that, and that's where you're discipling people. But then for the churches that are, when you as an apostolic type, and you're just blowing and going and planting churches and you're just going, there's not time for a 2-year process because you're just planting churches really quick because the harvest is so plentiful. That's where you're going to have to say, you meet most of the requirements. I'm going to continue discipling you along the way, but you're at right now. And then, but what did I just say there?
I'm going
to continue to disciple you. So I'm not just going to point you and say, good luck with this church. and I'm out of here, we have the technology today to stay connected really 24/7. And what did Paul do though? He didn't have Skype and Hangouts and Zoom. What did he do?
He wrote letters.
Wrote letters.
Visited,
Occasionally. I mean, it was a long cycle, but he did come back.
sent helpers to.
Sent helpers.
Or even sent what's the word I'm looking for? People who will assess as well, assessors.
Right. But again, today, we can certainly send helpers. We can certainly write emails and text and everything else. We can also get on Zoom and Hangouts and Skype and what have you and be more or less face to face 10,000 miles away. Okay, so what am I missing up here? Let's see.
I just want to add one thought. I think this is important to keep in balance, but that we, just to say again, yesterday we saw that churches can exist without elders. So, so actually I was sent to Japan without being formally recognized, but I was given the freedom to start a church, and I'm being coached through that process. But same thing, maybe the recognition, maybe like you said, maybe you don't need all these, but you're it for now. Maybe hold off until they meet, but also not wait too long, because then you slow down growth. So we want to make sure, I may be misquoting you just a minute, but make sure they meet the biblical requirements. Make sure we're not adding anything to the Bible, but also not wait too long too. So we can go either way. So it's just I wanted to throw it out there. It's a balance, but this guy, he could pastor the church without being formally recognized. But then, anyway, that's just throwing that in light of what our study yesterday. I hope that's okay.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And what did I say before about church self-determination?
Your church determines it, wrestles it through. Yeah.
Now, if it's a new church plant, who else is involved in that process? Probably one of the main persons involved in the process.
The
Church planter.
Church planter.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's not lose sight of that. So each one of you in this room are church planters, right?
If you choose to be. Yeah, oh yeah.
So is there anyone in this room who doesn't choose to be a church planter? So everybody in this room is a church planter. At least that's the process, right? And so everyone in here is going to be going through this process of figuring out, as you are growing your church, and you've gone through the 7 to 10 commands of Christ, and now you're into longer term discipleship. You have to decide, what are you going to do? Are you going to hand off the leadership to somebody else, i.e. appoint an elder, or is this your church that you're going to stay at for the rest of your life? Right? Those are the two choices, right? Or I guess the third one is just abandon it, right? So, there's a right. So, assuming you're not doing the latter one, then you've either got to be thinking about this from day one. Who in this group of people, who back there in the disco ball church is going to be the elder, and who am I going to pour into to make sure that when it comes time to hand off that baton, that person's ready to roll. Now, I've got a couple of minutes left, so I'm just going to throw out a grenade and then get off the stage. So, in this list here, what happens if you've got a bunch of ladies together, they're meeting, doing all this stuff? I mean, it's all ladies.
We've got that. Actually, not Nagoya, they've got 3, right? And they're 3 groups. Yeah.
Go back to the scripture.
Like I said, I'm gonna pull the pin on the grenade and run away. So you guys have got to decide what you want to do about that. And you've got to, through prayer and fasting and digging deep into the Word, decide how you want to proceed long term. short term, as you were, blowing and going, there's absolutely zero issue there. The long term, are you going to appoint an elder and move on, or what?
And the question is that's a woman. Would you appoint a woman elder? That's the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what was Marshall? Did you have a question?
Yeah.
So again, that's something that, for one thing, as a church planting movement team here, y'all need to start wrestling with that sooner than later. Because as you said, you already have 3 groups. I don't know, have they self-identified as church? But
Did you see their map? Were they self-identifying yet? Not
Close
yet.
to.
They're
okay,
close,
but you've
yeah.
got 3 groups that hopefully will self-identify as church. And so you need to start deciding what doctrine you are going to pursue here. Is it acceptable to appoint a woman as an elder, or what, or how, what's this look like? What are you going to do? And so start wrestling with that through prayer and fasting and the word sooner than later.
Why is this such a speed bump? Because appointing elders is not the issue, is it? Who doesn't appoint elders? I mean, all churches do that. The speed bump is in appointing elders in a brand new church full of brand new believers, right? That's the speed bump. And the reason this is a speed bump is because of this statement in Timothy, 1 Timothy 3, not a new convert, right? So church planting movements, you're non-biblical. You're appointing elders in brand new churches. What's wrong with you? Is there any biblical precedence for appointing elders in a brand new church with brand new baby Christians?
Book of Acts.
Where in the book of Acts? Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, there it goes. Okay.
Okay. All right, maybe I don't need to draw this out.
Yeah.
Where at?
And almost all of the first missionary journey is on their way back. They appointed elders.
So turn to Acts chapter 14, verse 23, and someone read that nice and loud.
And when they had ordained them elders in every church, and had prayed with fasting, they commended them to the Lord on whom they believed.
Okay, so they're appointing elders in the churches that they planted, right? Okay, let's do a little geography here. Here's the
Mediterranean Sea, that is.
Yep. Here's Cyprus. First missionary journey, Sioux, Cyprus, Antioch, Pisidia, Lystra, Iconium, Derbe. And what are they going to do? Once they've made many disciples doing that, what are they going to do?
Go backwards through the same.
All right, they're going to return and appoint elders. All right? How many months did this first missionary journey take?
18.
Okay, 12 to 18 months. How old is this church right here? At the oldest. Let's just split it in half, okay? How old is this church?
Weeks old.
Yeah, weeks old. Or if they took a long time, let's say they took 9 months to get here, and now they're going to start back, still it's months at the most. So how old are the converts in that church?
Weeks to months old.
Weeks to months old. There is biblical precedence for appointing new converts relatively, right, weeks to months old in the scriptures. Paul did that. What's the difference between the church in Ephesus and these churches when Paul's writing 1 Timothy 3 and Titus? What's the difference? The age of the church, right? And so one of the things we must recognize is that with new churches planted in the harvest, do they need leadership? Better believe it. And we have biblical precedents that you pray, you fast, you look at character traits, people that meet those character traits, even as new believers, you appoint as elders. So, this is why this is a speed bump. Okay? This is where you get into trouble, because you'll start talking about appointing pioneering elders, and people's heads just explode. You can't do that. The Apostle Paul did. Okay? So, we got to know our Bible. And that's why it's so important to understand the difference between Ephesus and one of these churches here. Okay?
I've heard the argument in response to this that that's all and good when there were no churches to begin with. So these were like there's no church at all in the region, so okay, that's an exception.
Yeah.
But if you're planning a church in an area, well, 30 minutes away or 40 minutes away, there's a church. So, that's a little bit different. So I hear that argument as well that, this is, you do have somewhere else to go. They could go to another church. You don't have to start a new church and appoint elders here.
Cool. Is that all the baby Christians that you're leading to Christ going to that church?
No.
No. First Baptist, First Presbyterian, and First Methodist. Which elder do I choose? I'm a Baptist, you choose mine. No, I'm a Methodist, you choose mine. How about I'm the church planner? I grew this right out of the harvest. I know these people. How about we let that church choose their elder? Let the church figure that out. You as a church planner, coach them into the Word. Let the Word, the Holy Spirit, and Jesus be the boss. Okay?